Welcome back, everyone. This is surprising and not surprising on a couple of fronts. One, it's surprising because this is one that honestly, even the most die-hard liberal gun control freaks should not have been able to twist or even try to use for their agenda. You see, the Virginia Beach shooting happened in a municipal building. This is a government controlled building. Imagine your local library, your local chamber of commerce, your local courthouse, your local city administration building. All of these are government buildings. And I don't know about you, but where I live, all of them prohibit the carrying of firearms by anyone who is not police or otherwise employed by the city as security for said building. It is illegal to walk into that building armed when you are not paid to be there and be armed. Second, this looks to be an African American male, although I really can't tell from a black and white photo. And from the other reports I've heard, it was not the evil AR 15 that was used. That's where it's not surprising. You see, most mass shootings do not use rifles, they use pistols or shotguns. Shotguns, otherwise known as scatterguns, tend to allow them to just point and shoot, while pistols are easier to control. It's not surprising at all that now the story is all but dying in the media. They're not talking about this because they can't spin this as an evil, racist white male attacked a bunch of innocent people in a municipal building with an AR 15 assault rifle. None of that's true, and they know we will know this, so they can't do it. So they just don't say a thing. But let's take a look at what we know about this so far. This is a disgruntled employee and it killed 12 people, Dwayne Craddock. They responded to the scene and then engaged him in a long gun battle. Now, he was employed, a certified professional engineer for the city of Virginia Beach in the Public Utilities Department. When we come in to look at this, he is a former Army National Guard soldier, very secretive, kept to himself all this, that he was apparently a night owl. He didn't talk to people, uh, went to the gym. Apparently, he never took anything in or out of his apartment. And, I mean, it's not anything that, in my mind, would raise any warning bells. If you looked at my life, I live alone. I tend to buy groceries maybe 3 times a month. You might see me on occasion bring in Dr. Peppers. I tend to take my trash once a week, and I have to drive it to a dumpster because I don't have pickup at my house. So you're not going to see me taking trash to the curb. If I did, it would sit there all week until I moved it. I go to work. I do my job. I do my work, and I come home. I am a single guy. I'm just not as reserved or withdrawn as this person. I have several people that I talk to regularly. I go over and talk to my neighbors, go over and talk to my parents on the other next door. I'm out. I have the chickens I got to take care of. So there are several similarities and several differences. But this is honestly, in my mind, a pretty solid report pointing to someone with some type of psychological or sociological issues where they needed some type of help, just an intervention, just a friend, who knows? I mean, there's no way we're ever going to know now. But this is also a very telling situation because the mainstream media has dropped the story like a hot rock. It's not a racist white male killing minority children with an AR-15. It was a black male who was in a building he shouldn't have had a firearm in to begin with, and not using the horrible AR style rifle. So they can't spin this. I mean, it's not that they won't, it's that they can't, because the details are out now. And if they tried to spin it as a white male with an AR-15, they'd be off the air because their viewership would sink to zero so fast. So just like every other time, that the story ends up pointing to either a rabid liberal or just another Democrat, or it's not an AR, or it's not a white male, or anything of the sort. If they can't twist and use the story to their own devices, they don't tell the story. Now, I've said before, and I'll say again, I very much support not talking about tragedies and twisting them and turning them and using them, or even just the very simple report that just gives the shooter attention. I mean, that honestly it's what most of them want. There are those that are just disconnected and they just don't care. They can't be reached. But with or without a firearm, this person would have hurt people eventually, whether it be by driving his car into the building, walking in with an improvised explosive device, chemical attack, walking in with a baseball bat and starting to swing, walking in and just attacking people with his hands. You're never going to solve violence. Okay? Evil exists in the hearts of men. We know this for a fact. It has since time immemorial. Whether or not you believe the Bible, we know that there have been assaults on other people. There have been murders and other crimes since well beyond recorded history. And that is because of the human condition. Changing the laws to disarm those who don't break the law will do nothing. Yet that's all we hear. When someone drives a car into a crowd, oh, it's such a tragedy, but they don't call for car control. They didn't call for pressure cooker control after the Boston bombing. They don't call for knife control, although London and the UK is, after a stabbing. They don't call for hand control after someone strangles 3 or 4 people. Because they know those stories would sound so far-fetched and so idiotic that they can't do it. But gun control, they run with that. And they run with it on the stupidest of things. I mean, I've heard everything from the AR-15. The pistol grip grants extra speed and damage power to the bullet. I've heard that the round expands to 100 times its size upon impact, blowing a hole the size of a door in a person. And I've heard even more ludicrous things. Okay? There is no line liberals will not cross in trying to force their agenda down our throats. Is this a tragedy? Yes. Do we need to do something to prevent it from happening in the future? Yes. Will gun control do that? No. I just don't know what is going to ultimately happen and what ultimately will need to happen before we finally knock common sense back into the government. Pardon me. The very people demanding we give up firearms, and we know that if we give up the AR-15, it will do no good, so give up your all rifles. That will do no good. Give up your shotguns. That will do no good. Okay, give up all your semi-automatic anything. That will do no good. Okay, just give them all up. That will do no good. We just don't get it. We know that's going to happen, and the very people calling for that work and sleep behind steely-eyed, gazed men and women, heavily armed, there to ensure no one attacks or does anything wrong. And they don't see the hypocrisy. It's the same as the Pope, who lives behind a wall, behind armed guards, telling the world, you don't need a wall and you don't need guns. But apparently he does. I don't know what's going to happen to expose the hypocrisy and to end it, to where our government will function as it truly should, run by people who understand All of us are citizens, and the job of government official is to serve your country. But I hope it happens before my life's over, because I can't imagine a world that goes even just another decade run by people who are so disconnected they truly believe that punishing the innocent will ever affect the guilty. But I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Just remember, keep it civil. We don't learn from argument, only from debate. As always, please remember to like and share this video, as well as to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you are among the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day.